Hey guys, so we know that Journey Together is coming out in about a month, and we already know what the Japanese cards are. And then we have Destin Rivals coming out later this year, and that's going to feature cards from Heatwave Arena, Glory of Team Rocket, all of those sets. And in response to a lot of these cards that we've seen leaked or confirmed in these sets, for example, N's Reshiram is going to be a promo card in the set, and in response to that, we've seen cards with N and Reshiram. This Reshiram and Zekrom GX from Cosmic Eclipse has basically tripled in value. I know it's gone from about 100. TCG Player has it around 200, but when you go look at the data, it's really selling pretty close to 300, if not over $300 at this point. And this isn't the only card this has happened to. The Solgaleo Lunala featuring Lily. Again, Lily is going to be in Journey Together. You're going to have her Clefairy, I believe, and maybe a couple other IR cards and stuff. So she will be featured in that set. So she's been moving a little bit. The Cynthia from Ultra Prism. Again, this card's gone up a lot from that 120 range most recently. It is selling 136 was the most recent sell, but before then 218, 210, 200. So it's closer to $200, I'd say. Again, Cynthia is going to be in Heatwave Arena, which is going to be part of our Destin Rivals. We are supposed to be getting Cynthia's Garchomp in that set. And again, if another Cynthia card from Brilliant Stars has basically doubled, and the Garchomp from Astral Radiance featuring Cynthia as well. This card's seen insane growth over the past 3 months, going from around $30 up to around 75. So, we can't contribute all this growth to, what's going to happen in future sets and people going back and buying those old cards, anticipating basically that they're going to go up in value because those trainers and Pokemon are going to be featured in new sets. But it's probably part of it, right? And in this video, I do want to talk about some more cards in the future later this year that could potentially see a boost in response to those Pokemon and trainers being featured in later sets. And just a disclaimer, because this is important. If you are going to invest in singles and slabs, and again, I don't do a lot of this. I invest mainly in sealed product. I would just be investing in the best hits of the generation, like really trying to get like the top, maybe even 3 to 5%. Like some people say 10% or 15%. Like I would just focus on the best hits of the era if you want to hold for long-term investments. That's just my opinion. It doesn't seem like a lot of cards in general do well long term, but in the shorter term, again, anticipating potential gains. I know a lot of people are going to make short-term plays, so if you are going to try and do something like this, just know that they probably aren't going to be the best long-term investments. But with that said, let's get in the video. So there are a couple other cards we've already seen gains on. The Cynthias I've already talked about, the Zekrom with N. Those are kind of the big ones. The Starmie featuring Misty. Misty is going to be in Heatwave Arena, or at least some of her Pokemon are. Again, that probably contributes a little bit to this. Also, it's just a really awesome trainer gallery. People like Misty, so shouldn't read too deep into that. But when we look at future sets for this year, right, we are going to be getting a special English set that releases July 18th. Poke Beach is basically saying that these are going to be related to Black Bolt and White Flare, which are going to be black and white remakes. They're going to feature all 156 Unova Pokemon. And if this happens, right, when we look at some of the Unova Pokemon, I brought up everything over here somewhere. You're going to have your Kyurem, you're going to have your Reshiram and Zekrom, you're going to have Genesect, a couple other popular Pokemon. So people might start looking at some of these cards that are older featuring these Pokemon and think that they're good investments. And even some of the trainers over here. So when you look at some of the trainers in black and white, obviously you have some other ones not featured on this list, but I think some big ones to consider would be Alessa. Skyla obviously has a big card in, I can't remember what set it is from Sun and Moon or XY era, but those are definitely popular trainers. And again, like I'm not going to talk about the male trainers just because those cards normally aren't worth as much as the female ones. That's just reality. So Caitlyn as well is another big one. And then again, if there was going to be a popular male trainer, it's probably going to be N with Zekrom and then Reshiram and some of these other ones, Zoroark as well, which we're going to see in Journey Together here. So, some of these older cards, right, of Pokemon from Unova that I picked out in this that could potentially blow up. First off, you have Landorus, you have Thundurus, and Tornadus. And the Tornadus, we did see an alternate art in Chilling Reign. This card is starting to move. It's up 27% over the past 3 months. I think part of that is just all the alternate arts popping off. Nowhere near its all-time high, which was well over $30, or at least the one-year high release. It might have been a bit higher. The Thundurus EX, it's actually a cool card. I like the colors and everything. This is a very old card though. Plasma, what set did this come in? Plasma Freeze. So again, I don't even remember what year these cards came out, but it's going to be interesting to see, some of these black and white cards that came out like maybe, I don't know, 2012, 2011, something like that, 2013. If people are really going to pump them, it does seem like this card is actually moving a little bit. Again, it doesn't sell too much on TCG Player. But it will be interesting to see if people are even willing to go back and invest in these very old cards. Again, they are full arts. I chose everything that's full arts. I didn't just go for very old vintage hollows. But this card could potentially move. The Landoris, this one is from Boundaries Cross, which I think is like 2011, 2012 as well. So again, I would probably invest in the Thunderous over the Landoris. That's just my opinion. But again, like some of these cards could start moving. The Superior V from Silver Tempest. This one is already moving up 135%. Could potentially go higher. Who knows? Again, it's not a super popular Pokemon. It is a Unova Pokemon. It's featuring Rosa in it as well. She's, a very popular trainer. When it comes to like the waifu element, Cosmic Eclipse, I'm pretty sure her card's the most expensive. So that's one to think about. Genesect as well. One of those 156. It would be cool to see a Genesis SIR or maybe even an IR. And yeah, maybe the Fusion Strike one goes higher. Maybe it hits $50. I don't know. I don't think it's a super popular Pokemon, but the fact that people are willing to pump basically anything nowadays, I mean, it's one to keep your eye on, right? Same thing with the Mian Shao from Paradox Rift. Again, this card has more than doubled in the past 3 months. Could go higher. This is Unova Pokemon. Outside of this, we have a couple more like Golurk. This is an alternate art from Evolving Skies. It's up 34% over the past 3 months. I don't think it's near, yeah, it's below its 1 year high, which is around $33. I was back in May, June when all the alt arts were popping off. Came back down to around $14, $15, back over 20 now. Again, maybe this one goes a little bit higher. I really don't like the cards that have like the single strike or rapid strike stamps in them. To me, I'm just like not as big of a fan, but it's still a really cool artwork. So some of these could go higher. Again, the Reshiram Zekrom, we already talked about this in this video. I think it could still go higher. This is a really cool card. But it is like pretty maxed out. So again, like investing in something like this is fairly risky. You also have the Black Kyurem from Boundaries Cross, an older card as well. Most expensive Kyurem, I believe, of all time. So maybe, if we see a nice Kyurem card in, what would that be? That black and white remake set, the specialty set we're going to get in the summer. If that is what it actually is going to be, we could see a very expensive card and some of these older ones, pick up some steam. The Black Kyurem promo from XY. This is also really cool artwork. Yellow borders. So again, you have to take that in consideration. It is moving though over the past 3 months, up 34, 35%. So people, and yeah, 100% over the past year from $8 up to around 16. So people have been going back and starting to pick up some of these older cards. And the White Kyurem, same sort of deal. If we look at the past year, this one's actually down, not as expensive, only a couple dollars. This is for a damaged hollow though, and the problem is that there's no option for near mint. But when we go look at sales, most recent sales $19 for near mint. That was yesterday. The near mint before then $22. I'm trying to see if there's any more in here. 18, almost $19. So a near mint copy of this card's almost $20 again, which is good to see. And then one more card I left in here was the Cynthia and Caitlyn tag team card. Again, Caitlyn was a trainer in the black and white era. Cynthia as well was featured, I believe, and she's going to be featured in some of these cards. Up only 6% on the year, so maybe something like this that people do want to keep pumping trainers could be an option for trainer cards that continue to go as well. Again, guys, I mainly just invest in sealed product, and if I am going to start investing into slabs and singles, it's going to be the top like 3 to 5% of cards in an entire era that I would focus on, and then maybe like shorter term plays, expand that out a bit. And if you are, one of these people that wants to take a risk on something and, anticipate future gains, maybe some of these are options. Maybe you're thinking of some other Pokemon featured from Unova. If you guys are, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below what you're thinking. If not, no worries at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.